Smart automation, better business. Learn how to optimize your business with Solved.
Well, let's talk about the Solved AI Success Framework. I'm going to walk you through this at like a really high level, and then if there are more questions or you want to go deeper on anything, main principle driving all of this is business is in the process of getting automated more and more. These models are incredibly powerful, and what they can do today is nowhere close to what they're being used for, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done. A lot of people need to try new things, roll out new tools. Those tools need to be adopted. Old tools need to be deprecated. There's a ton of change management that has to happen before even what can be done today is fully utilized. But you kind of like the undercurrent of all of that is businesses that don't automate are going to get left behind. There are very large enterprises paying a lot of money to say everything that can be automated now that AI is as smart as it is, we need to move that direction. The advantage, though, is with the new entrants. So new businesses being able to build from scratch in an automated fashion instead of move these big, like megalithic companies with entrenched processes over to more automated solutions. So the steps that we recommend here are establishing a strategy, understanding the outcomes that you want, make sure you can measure and get those. And then after that, bottom up adoption first, and then top down adoption. So what I mean by that is bottom up adoption means the people that work for you, the experts, make sure they have access to tools and that they know how to use them to get all the little efficiency gains, all the little ways that their jobs can go faster, get done better. Most new tools or technologies don't work this way. It's top down. The IT team gets together and says, okay, we just purchased this tool. We have this big project to implement it. Then we got to train our users on it. AI, similar to like the internet, is sort of this, everybody can just get on and use it. Companies are, again, behind if the employees don't have access to like ChatGPT, Claude, whatever it is they want to use, and are being encouraged to use it. So we see a lot right now. A lot of companies are actively saying, don't use AI. And there's good reasons for that. They're worried about privacy. They don't know how it works. They've used it and found that it's not always trustworthy. And so a lot of people pushing back. At Solved, we're big proponents of this is coming. It's going to change everything. You got to learn how to use it. So set yourself up to use it safely, privately, make sure that people have training to use it well, and then let everybody go wild and go find the use cases that are going to be most beneficial. That's bottom-up adoption, empowering your experts. And then top-down adoption. In that process, you're going to have some people that say, hey, I'm doing this by copying and pasting a bunch of stuff into ChatGPT. I think it would be faster if we had a tool or a workflow built that would do the whole thing for me automatically, because then we could use that for me and everybody else that's in my role. And so then you're identifying strategic initiatives to say, we're going to turn these bottom-up type use cases that we found value, we're going to turn them into larger. There's a lot of like steps, and I'm going to go through those here in a second, but just generally on strategy, bottom-up adoption, top-down adoption. Any questions here?
No.
Okay, great. So essentially elements of a good strategy, making sure you know what outcomes you're going for, making sure that you have an ability to measure. There's a lot of companies right now that are just saying implement AI, but then, and this is from a report last year on AI adoption, there's a lot of companies that are like, yeah, we've done some implementation, but we have no idea if we're any more successful because of it, because it's difficult to measure success here. So there are some specific strategies that you need to know how you'll know if you're getting ROI. It can be tempting to say, we're going to buy this big expensive AI tool and add a bunch of licenses without knowing what is the ROI here? How, is the juice worth the squeeze? So I want to make sure you do that analysis. This is the number one pain point that I hear about, is it's hard to keep up. It's hard to know what tools to use. It's hard to know what's cutting edge. What can I even automate? How does that work? And so having a system in place to be able to stay up to date, know what's being used, not have to sift through a ton of information, but just get to the solutions. And then also knowing what can you use? What are the privacy implications? What are the regulatory implications of using certain tools? So once you've got that, you've got a good foundation. The steps of the bottom-up adoption, making sure you have access to a good platform that is secure and private. Make sure that your people know how to use those. And then make sure that you're transparent with your people so that they know so that they're encouraged to experiment, to use AI, and that they know what they need to be afraid of, right? So a lot of people are really worried about, there's actually some research saying that like over 50% of AI use in the workplace is secret, meaning people are using it but not telling their boss that they're using it. The reason why is because they're worried, if I get better at this, am I going to just be expected to do way more? Or if we start using AI, am I going to get replaced sooner? Are there policies or rules and like I'm going to get in trouble for using this? So these are the things on people's minds, but they're still using the tools. So making sure that they have information, policies, answering their fears, that kind of thing, to make sure that they can use it. And that's when you start getting the bottom up benefits. Okay. And last one, our recommended process for top-down adoption is creating a list of things that could be automated by AI. Almost everything AI could assist with. So essentially this turns into making a list of things what are the tasks that comprise your business, including what needs to be done for marketing, what are the salespeople doing, what does customer support look like? So kind of making, and the more granular you can get with that, at Solves, we've got a list where it's one of the things we do is create process flow diagrams for clients based on a meeting that we have with them about their business process. So Austin, you're familiar with this process probably. So the question is, can we make a tool that takes a meeting transcript and then turns it into 80% of the work is done on your business process flow diagram, and now your consultant can go in and make edits as necessary to finish it off, and you've just saved a bunch of time. So that's just one quick example, but getting a list of those tasks, separating them into low-hanging fruit and bigger strategic initiatives, and then having someone either in the organization or getting help from outside to go through each of those use cases and make sure that the automation happens, starting with the low-hanging fruit, identifying strategic initiatives along the way, and then systematically automating more and more. And you get this cool return, you get this curve where you're able to speed up on that, because the more things you automate, the more you and the people that you're working with can spend time on automating. And so you start getting, efficiencies of scale here, the more you automate. Okay. I've kind of beat this dead horse into the ground here, but any questions on this at a high level?
No, this is actually really, really good, thought-provoking for, I've had a lot of how to generally do I use AI, but this is really good.
Cool. Great. Towards the end, we'll do more kind of deep dive Q&A, and I'd love to know, we'll kind of circle back to it, but I'd love to know what were some of the questions that you feel like were answered from this. And then also, we're basing a lot of our product offerings on this framework. So also would love to know what outstanding questions are there, or are there things that what are the questions that are sparked by this? Where do I start here? Anyways, so we'll circle back to it, but yeah, I'm glad it's useful.
Thank you so much for watching. We can't wait to help you automate your business. Please like, comment, or subscribe for more.